Hi, welcome to Don's Workshop. This is my review of the Lego Ferrari Daytona SP3. So I have finished the Ferrari build, and it is an excellent set. When I got this set, I didn't expect it to be as interesting as it turned out to be. There's a number of things that is included in this set that I guess are just not normally part of other Technic sets. Most Technic sets the Technic sets I've built so far, most of them have included steering, engine, and like doors and hood and whatnot. But this is a whole nother level of build. And the main thing that makes that a different build is the gearbox. So the gearbox mechanism, you build the actual gearbox. I don't know if the other supercars all have the gearbox or not, but this is my first one, so my first experience building the gearbox. I didn't really, as I was building the car and playing around with the functions as they came to fruition, getting things together, it's like, wow, just how detailed it is and how things all work together to actually make a gearbox, a functioning gearbox that also ties into the actual parts of the car that would run, the part of the car that would run the gearbox. So to look, that is the gearbox there, all those gears over here, and they do change, and the detail of how the gearbox actually works is that one of the things that is the surprise is it ties the actual, there's the cabin coming off there, it ties the actual shifter into engaging and disengaging the gearbox. So if you push the shifter forward, it does engage the gearbox and it will turn the engine if you move the car forward. It doesn't turn it if you go back, but if you can switch it back and it will turn the engine if you move the car backwards. So it is amazing that they actually included that kind of functionality in this build. Now, as far as the changing of the gears in here, the function for changing the gears was this kind of flipper thing that is included to flip the gears, and it ends up being that it's the flappy paddles that you would have on a steering wheel of a Ferrari to change gears. So it's actually, they're located right behind the steering wheel, and that is for changing gears, which is an amazing detail to have the actual flappy paddles on the behind the steering wheel to actually change gears in the gearbox. So that is I just think that's a fantastic way to show the build of this car. Now the other part is the steering. Now the steering, as usual, turns the wheels there. So that is a usual thing. It is a lot smoother than other steering mechanisms. And you can see all the hood can be popped up here like that, and you can see the steering mechanism in there. So it is a pretty slick, smooth, very smooth steering mechanism in this Ferrari. So that is pretty neat. And then the other thing we get is the doors. The doors actually don't just open up, but the mechanism has them open up and out. So as you lift it up, the door moves out as well. So that's a very neat mechanism that they have on the doors, and it holds them up. So that is very good. Then we have the rear engine cover here, and it has the stilts to hold it up. Very nice engine cover You can see the fenders for the wheels in here, and you can see once again, the engine is kind of covered up a bit, so you can't see as well when those pistons are moving. But it is a very nice. Once again, it's got all 12 cylinders as a Ferrari Daytona SP3 would have, which I thought was quite interesting. That is cool, and then it's got the suspension as usual built in. Now, what is an interesting, of course, one of the very nice details of this Ferrari is the detailing of how they built out these terraces, like on the back and the front, to make it look like what the Ferrari actually looks like. So this is actually a very neat build. It's not too complicated, but it is very nice and makes it very highlights those details very nicely. So in the front of the sides, so that's very nice. And the lights, you see the lights is just a rod there. So that is a nice, an interesting way to make the lights. The one thing that is a little disappointing with the Ferrari is the build for the mirrors. Like, the mirrors are they're simple, but I did find they come off rather easily. It's not a big deal with these ones because the pieces are so large. It's not like they're gonna roll off too far, and they're pretty easy to put back. But yeah, they do come off fairly easy. At least when I was building it, having to kind of tilt it on its side would knock the mirrors off after you put them on. So you just kind of had to. I did take the mirror off eventually because it was just coming off so much. In my last video, I did just put those two wings on back here. I didn't double check to see if they seem to be, that's where they go. So I didn't double check to see if that's what the instructions say, but yeah, it seems that I was probably missing that there. But yeah, and then the detail of just the seats, and this console actually flips up. Now, I don't know if that means if there's a way to put a motor in here, or like a motor in here to run the actual engine, that would even make sense in terms of how the gearbox engages. So if you had the motor here, because this would be similar to the engine, if you replace this kind of piece in here and put a motor in there, then that would actually, you would use this shifter to engage it, and it would actually fit in perfectly for how the shifter and the gearbox works. So, because that's all on, it all connects back down and underneath there to connect to the gearbox and the wheels. So that is quite interesting that they chose that, as well as you can easily fit a motor in there to control the steering. That might be something I try. I'm not sure at this point, but we'll see if I have time to get something like that done. Another thing is there are no stickers on this. Not a single sticker. Every piece that's got a Ferrari insignia or Pony Anywhere, every single piece is printed in the front. The little flaps. They got flaps on the door here. There's the printing back here on the engine covers as well, and just the little. They're not everywhere, and then of course they have the printed tiles, the little circular tiles with the horse on there. They're not everywhere, so it's not a big deal. And then there's just this one large printed tile for the gas cap here, which they had to do. There's a couple of tiles at the front here that are printed as well, just with these lines over here. So not a lot to print, but it keeps you from having to put stickers on this, which is nice for the quality of this set. A very nice set. Now that I know these supercars are built like this is really cool. I plan on getting more of them. I was looking up prices, and like the Porsche is pretty pricey, so I don't know if I'll be getting that one, but we'll see if I can get some of the other ones, and including the new McLaren, and put those together and see how, if it actually is a whole lot different with the gearboxes and the motors and such. But it is I think this is just a very excellent set. You know, it's Technic, and a lot of people don't like Technic, but I do think Technic is pretty cool, especially when you get the functionality with the gearbox, with the steering, and the other kind of functions that just work so nicely on a car, which is a feat of engineering, which to me feels like that's a good way to use Technic. So anyway, if you like that review and like to see more, please subscribe. Thank you for watching, and take it easy.